Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm going to give you guys a winter update here in the machine shop. I have, of course, the brand new project, the Power Hammer, that I've been working on. I made a little bit of progress on it, more progress. The ram is mostly done. I need to redo the dovetail, but this here's going to be the ram. In previous videos, I explained that the ram, piston, and all that was going to be one piece, that this here was going to basically be my ram. My dies were going to go in the end of that. I changed my mind. After talking to Mark Krause, doing some math, and trying to figure out just the surface areas involved and the way things are designed, I changed it. This is going to be my piston. I'm going to turn this down. This will be a piston and rod, all one piece. This is going to thread into the end of my ram, which does a couple things. That, there's more surface area for the air to act on here, and there's more area for the air to expand. It's going to be less pressure. It'll be better on the hammer, and also the ram itself will be bigger. It'll be a proper, the right size, for the size of cylinders and everything I have. It'll just work out to be better. And other news on the Power Hammer. The sow block is just about done. I do need to do a bit of remachining on it. After I finished that last video, I figured out that my clearances for the keys was wrong. I need more clearance for my keys, so I need to do that. I also need to get more brake clean so I can get all this metal dust off of here. High-speed steel, I don't feed it hard enough, I don't think, or I don't keep it cool enough, because high-speed steel likes to make all this dust whenever I use it here in the shop, whereas carbide seems to make these really nice, well, maybe not nice, but better chips. But that's the progress on that. That is, for those of you that don't know, that is what's called a sow block on a power hammer. It is used for several different things. One nice thing is the fact that my dovetails are 90 degrees from one another means I can adjust my die just by knocking out some wedges and realigning them, realigning my die and everything. That helps with alignment. Another thing that is nice about having a sow block is it is modifiable. If I want a different die system, if I don't want to use dovetails to hold on my actual dies, I could make another one of these and have bolt-on tooling, or make a special sow block, maybe a big U shape with some hooks on the end to forge out rings. There's all kinds of creative things you can do with your sow block. It just gives you more options. Also, if you are using your regular dovetail often and you are changing out your dies often, it keeps your anvil in better shape, because you don't need to mess around with the dovetail on the anvil as much, because you have one in your sow block. Having one in your sow block means that this dovetail will get worn out first. That is your first wear point, kind of like the Gibbs on a mill. It's like having two different axes. You only use one of them. The y-axis will not get as worn because you're always using the x. Similar concept. Not sure if I'm explaining it well, but it's mostly done. It's pretty good. So that's the main part. I have the next project is going to be I have some plates here that have been plasma cut with my new plasma cutter. The steel plates will be part of a new vise right angle plate. I'm kind of debating whether or not I'm going to make a right angle plate for it, or if I'm going to bolt it directly to my drill table. Pretty sure I'll make a little standoff for it. If not, I'll find another use for those plates. The aluminum is going to be used for a drill shelf, so I will pop holes in each of these. One of them will be for Morse Taper 1, Morse Taper 2, Morse Taper 3, Morse Taper 4, and then the biggest one will be for my Morse Taper 5 tooling. That'll help me organize the massive amount of twist drills I have. They need to be organized. They need to be in a spot where they are more visible, easier to access. And I also want storage for all of my sleeves as well. I have sleeves and extensions and drift keys, and I need a better way to store them than putting them all in a drawer. I want to be able to know where all of my drift keys are and all of my sleeves so that I can keep them put away. Help keep the shop more organized versus in a drawer where they're out of sight and I don't know if, I left them somewhere. Or it'll help with organization. Next project is this die, which you guys might remember. I don't know. I think I've shown this on the channel. It's been sitting outside, so it's rusty. This is a forging die for making track links for the bulldozer project. Yes, I'm still doing the bulldozer project. I've been looking at other bulldozers other than the one I'm building, and I've decided that building one is going to still be my most economical and best option. Some of you might not understand that or might not get it, which is fine. This is for making all of the track links, for putting the offset in them. If you look at bulldozer links from the top or the bottom, they look like that. I'll have 2 of them per link, and these are the dies. I tested them out, of course. I need to put a stop in here so that I have a way to set the depth, and I also need to put a spring in here, but I have messed around with it a little bit, and so far I really like the results. The punch press handles it beautifully. There are no issues with the force required, so overall I'm very happy with that. I picked up a couple of these bearings. They're inch and 15/16 ID or Dodge bearings. They were in the scrapyard, brand new. I got those, so I'm going to use those for it. Some customer jobs. I've been getting a lot more customer jobs, which feels really good. This is the drill table off of the radial arm drill. I have some sad news about it that I'll get to here in a minute. My forklift, which has been named Guido. Everything I have has an odd name, or it's either named after the model number that it is, or like this is Guido, named after the character from Cars. It has new forks, not on it at the moment. I need to machine them, but I've made, or at least welded up, new forks for Guido here. Here's an old tie rod from a buddy's truck that is being turned into a connecting rod for the power hammer. And also something that Adam from Small Town Machine Shop gave me that I'd forgotten about is a rod end for the power hammer project that will connect the connecting rod to the compressor. So instead of having to make one, I can just use this guy. I will bore it out for bushings, but that was a gracious gift from Adam. Let's head outside and see what all has changed in front of the shop. See what projects I'm getting into out here. A Lincoln Electric welder. So these are the forklift forks that I made. I preheated them in the forge and welded them with 7018 rod. I believe I put 4 passes into them, pretty hot passes. I wish I could have had these at more of a 45 because they did lay down pretty flat, but they did penetrate pretty good, and I have no doubt that these welds will hold, especially considering how small the welds are on the forks the forklift currently has. This here is the power hammer anvil and power hammer, sort of the rough frame. That is the flywheel. That came off of the old Badger Ironworker that I also got from Adam, bought that from him. He brought it down from a machine shop that closed down 30 years ago. This is sort of the footprint of that machine. It's going to be, you'll see a lot of hammers. The dies will be angled and there will be more room between the ram and the main body of it. This is going to be a very small, compact hammer. So the dies are going to be just facing this direction, feed material in. You won't really be able to get stuff through. I will have to put in or cut a hole to be able to knock keys out, which isn't a big issue for me, but something I'll have to do. This is the forge, this base. Again, a lot of my stuff, the bigger stuff comes from Adam. That actually came from Adam with a big welder that I'll show you guys in a minute. Currently on this base is the forge. I put in my K-wool and Satanite. I have outside here, this is a layer of brick, just the brick is more hardy than the K-wool, and I need to put more Satanite in there to cover the K-wool. This works extremely well. It gets extremely hot. I'm quite happy with it. This is a piece that's kind of been in there the last couple times I'd forged with it. Mostly been heating up track plates to test out the dies, and also I used it to heat up the forklift forks for Guido, because you need to preheat your 4140 before you weld it. And then over here at the big radial arm drill, you'll notice that there is no big radial arm drill. This is now just a base. This base is going to a friend of mine to turn into a welding table. The whole thing is machined, as you can see. So he's going to clean it up, use it for a big welding table. I'll give him all the bolts in case he wants to bolt something to it. Maybe he wants to put a little crane on there or something. The arm of the radial arm drill and the column and all that are up here, because all of this is going to the scrapyard. I was able to find another radial arm drill that does not need any work except for the addition of a VFD to convert single phase into three-phase power. And this radial arm drill requires so much work that I decided it wasn't worth it. It's more worth its weight in cast iron than it is as an actual machine tool. It has broken lines everywhere. It has been used and abused. It is very wore out. I was excited for it at first, but as time grew on, I kind of learned all of its issues, its quirks, and realized it was a bad buy. Well, it wasn't a bad buy. Frankly, that and the drill table is easily worth the money I paid for it. So I'm not sad about getting rid of this drill. I am sad about scrapping a machine tool. I have a bit of sympathy for machine tools, which I'm told makes me not a real machinist, according to my co-workers, but that's okay. This one is going to get strapped down, brought down to my local scrapyard, and it's going to go to the great machine shop in the sky, taking just about everything I want off of it. So, as well as the Badger iron worker. You might remember from a long time ago, that iron worker came in from Adam. He went to a machine shop, brought that down for me, and it has a massive crack in it. So I pillaged the flywheel off of it. Well, I gave it to a co-worker because he was interested in it, and then he gave it back to me because he couldn't do anything with it. He didn't want to repair the crack. So I took the flywheel off of it for the power hammer. I'm taking the legs because those are pretty good legs. They're very, very stout. But the rest of it is going to go to the scrapyard just for some pocket change. And kind of a sad ending for a 100-year-old machine. But no one has a use for it. It's not... It's too wore out. If it were in a little bit better condition, I would consider restoring it, but it's not useful enough. It's just a shear. It's not a useful enough machine to keep around, and no one really wants it, so it's going to the great machine shop in the sky. And right there is the big Lindy 450 that Adam gave me. That big three-phase welder. It's a MIG welder. Really nice. That one is going to get stored until I can get out to my property, because I don't have three-phase to run it, and I don't have a lot of amperage. I don't have a lot of amperage out here in the shop. to be able to play with, to be able to get that machine going. So it's going to sit there until I can get out to my property with a big 3-phase generator that I'm being given, and I can do some proper MIG welding. So those are the updates here in the shop of things that have been happening. Nothing has really happened with the main body of the bulldozer. I have this hydraulic joystick I'll be adding to it. A neighbor of mine is getting rid of a lot of metal on his property, and in there is a lot of really nice old radiators, line shaft equipment, etc., etc. And I'm going to be getting all of that. It's nothing too interesting or big, just a bunch of little stuff. So I'll be getting all of that. I might document some of it, but that's all that's been happening here. Just working on personal projects and doing a lot of customer jobs. So with all that being said, please like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching and commenting, and have a good day.